Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, just to let me down and mess me around, and the worst of all.
Hi guys, I am about to tour what I think is one of the biggest parks I've ever made in history, which is called Ariannas, and this is another Sandbox mode park, and this is another one of the oldest parks I've made. So anyways, let's just go inside the park. Here you'll see a bunch of food stands and restrooms and all other stands, and there's the bucking bull type ride, and here's the top scan I added that's themed to a spider, and here is the Gravitron type ride I have here, and here's another restroom, and 2 vending machines, and the Sea Serpent shuttle coaster I added tonight called Dragon Breath's Revenge. I used to have a tilt coaster, but I removed it tonight due to it having technical problems, and so I got this coaster to replace it. Doesn't it look cool? And so anyways, here's another restroom I added, and here's a Sky SWAT type ride I added, and here's a stand-up coaster that RCT3 already built, I think, called Venomous. And what's cool about the lift hill track is that it changes from yellow to purple, back and forth, which is really cool actually. And here is my SNS Scream and Swing called Beat Hawk. And here is the looping coaster I told you RCT3 already built called Glowworm. And it just looks so good I had to add it here at Ariannas. And so anyways, here is the Gerstlauer Eurofighter I built here last night called Kylie Curls Her Toes. And so anyways, that's a funny name. And so anyways, here are the 2 stands I added, which one sells suntan lotion and the other sells sunglasses. And I added those things as a factor to get people to ride Kylie Curls Her Toes. And so anyways, here is a vending machine and a restroom and a regular top spinner. So now I just found out that I have 2 top scans at this park that are themed to something different. Oh my gosh, 2 top scans in one park. And I didn't even know that back then because I wasn't a true coaster enthusiast at the time I made this park. And so anyways, here is the giant Ferris wheel I have here. And here's the Space Rings type attraction, and here's the Robot Arm type ride, and here's the Monster ride, and here's the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups type ride, and here is the water park as you see, which I just call Arianna's Pool, because I just like to call it that for reasons. And so anyways, here is my attempt at building a water slide complex, and I was looking back at this last night, and I always call this a deformed water slide complex because at the time I made this, EB had already built one when he was playing RCT3, and so I attempted to build one too, and this is how it went. So and so anyways, the 2 body slides that are black are called Cheyenne Plank, and this tube slide is called Cheyenne Revenge, and this one is called Cheyenne Ruler of Doom. And here's a water slide called Uncle Chet, and here is a tube slide called the Wegmans that I made, and here's another tube slide called the Alarm Clock. And I think this park is how I first built where I first built Uncle Joe Blasters. Now, let me tell you the story of how this ride came up. So I was texting with my Uncle Joe one night, and then I was texting him about playing RCT3 and naming all these rides after people, and I think it was email. I'm sorry about that. And so anyways, then Uncle Joe replied to me about Uncle Joe replied to my email about playing RCT3 and stuff, and he was like, "Excuse me, but why don't you have a ride named after me? You need to get to work on that." And so I did, and so I named this ride the Uncle Joe Blasters. And so, anyways, here it is. I just realized that here at Ariannas isn't where the Uncle Joe Blasters was first built. I don't remember where it was first built, but I built it, and I'm cloning it at some of my water parks. And so, anyways, here is an overview of Arianna's pool. And so that should pretty much do it for the water park. And now, here's the swinging inverter ship type ride I have here. And here is the Buffalo Roundabout type ride. And here's the Sky Sling, and the Insect House, and the Octopus type ride, and the Lasso type ride, and the Gal Swing type ride, and then the Motion Simulator type ride, and here's the Riptide type ride, and here's the Spiral Slide and TNT Vortex, and here is the shortest B&M invert I've ever made if I look back on this. It's called the Ella Anderson, and the reason why I say short is because look at the length of that coaster. Like, it doesn't have much elements, and so looking back on it, I think that is one of the stupidest B&M inverts I've ever made, but I keep it for reasons because guests like it. And so anyways, here is the Dolphin Show I added in the middle of the Ella Anderson's course. And so anyways, here is an overview of the middle area with the disco type ride, and the rotor type ride, and the gyrator type ride, and the powerboat type ride, and the chair swing type ride, and the zipper type ride, and the sky swing type ride. And yeah, so anyways, here is a giant slide type ride I added here called Riley Anderson, because I used to love Inside Out at the time I first made this park. And so anyways, here is a pounding surf type ride, and a 0G trampoline. And oh my god, a lot of people got sick. Hold on, let me hire a bunch of janitors to clean this up. Give me a second. That should be enough janitors to cover it. And so anyways, here is another restroom, and here is the floundering ferry type ride I made here. And here's a wooden wild mouse I made called the Bare Feet. And here is the Twister type ride, and the Twirler type ride, and the Chaos type ride, and the House of Fun. And here's the deformed restaurant building. It's actually a restaurant, but it has a deformed building. I attempted to build that too in 2015, but it didn't work out so well. And plus, as you see here, the restaurant has the actual food stands here and inside. And so anyways, here is the Jackie's Moon Bounce, and here is here's the Spin Doctor type ride, and here are a bunch of food stands to keep the guests full. And so anyways, here is the Lion Show and the restroom right next to it, and there's the Mirror Maze type attraction right there. And here is once again the RCT3 knockoff of the SNS Twisted Looper called the Natalie, which I clone at some of my parks now. And so anyways, here is the Killer Whale Show I added here. And here is the Topple Tower type ride. And I think I showed you my Water Rapids ride, Kylie Canyon. No, I didn't. And so anyways, here is Kylie Canyon. And here is the Windseeker type ride I added. And here are a whole nother bunch of food stands. And here is the Tagada type ride. And as you can see, I added a random sign right there because I just liked to play around back then. And so anyways, here is the recreation of Sidewinder at Hershey Park. Me and EB first made this at Caillou Park, and so I've installed it at some of my parks. And so anyways, here is the Larson loop. I already told you Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 calls Meteorite. And here is the planetarium, and here's the karaoke concert type attraction. And here is my intimate impulse coaster I made called the Fear, because again, I used to love watching Inside Out back when I first made this park, and my favorite emotion in the movie was fear. So I made an intimate impulse coaster because that's what would make sense, because fear is like what happens when you run when you're scared of something and stuff. And I named this coaster the Fear. And so anyways, here is the loop type ride. And behind the Fear here is the Flying Saucers type ride and the water coaster I made called the Disgust. And here's the 3D cinema I added. And here's the Teacups type ride. And here's another restroom. And here's the double sky wheel and the Saltamontes I just added last night right behind it. And here is the dinosaur go-around type ride. And here is the tiger show and the first aid stand and the toilet stand. A restrooms. A restroom. I'm sorry. And so anyways, here is the parachute drop type attraction. And this is the Roundup type ride. I have 2 Roundup type rides at this park now that are themed to different things. And so anyways, here is the winning coaster I made called the Fart. And here is one of my drop towers. It's a roto drop type thing called the Attitude. And here is the drop tower I made called the Marina. And here's the chair swing and the powerboat and the gyrator like I showed you, and all those food stands. And so here is a sky swing type ride. I might have showed you that. If I didn't, well, here it is. And there's the zipper type ride, and if I didn't show you that, there it is too. And here is another restroom and the changing rooms to Arianna's pool. And so anyways, here are some drink stands I added and another restroom. And so anyways, I think that should pretty much do it for this park tour of Ariannas. Reply to me your thoughts on this video, and stay tuned for a lot more of those RCT3 park tours coming, and I will see you in the next. Oh, and I might have forgotten to show you this ride right here. This is the Rolloplane type ride I have here, and if I forgot to show it to you, here it is. And